Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I want to talk about why I decided to stop being nice to everybody. Ever since I was a kid, I have been taught by my mother, by my teachers, by other people around me to always be nice and kind to everyone, to always be generous to everyone. And I used to do that. Every time in school when I had candy or when I bought pizza in high school or junior high school, I would always share it with everybody. As soon as I bought the box, people would come up to me that knew me or that I kind of knew mutually. And just out of the kindness of my own heart, I would give them a slice, give them a slice, give them a slice. And then I felt really good about myself. I felt like I was included. I felt like I was part of a community. I felt like I was really liked by everybody. You know, that I was the guy. I was that guy. But in reality, I wasn't. They had their own friend circles. They had their own friend groups. And a lot of them would talk smack behind my back, especially back in school. And I was like, what did I do wrong? Like, I was always a really nice guy. I would always be available. I would always give my food to people. I would always help people with their homework, you know, stuff like that. But then I noticed it became more frequent. The same person would approach me more and more about, for help on assignments or, to even give like ask for some money, some like pocket change, like $2 or $3, and I would never get that money back. I would never get it back. And whenever I would confront these people, they would just tell me that, oh, I'll give it to you next week, I'll give it to you the following week, and it never happened. And I've noticed that I've developed this habit from being a kid all the way up into adulthood, where I was just always so generous. I was so generous to my coworkers. I would always try to work extra hours, or like if someone asked me to cover their shift, I would cover their shift for them, even though I'm busy or I'm tired. I just wanted to be that nice guy, especially when it came to girls. Whenever I had girl coworkers or friends that were girls, I would always go out of my way to be kind to them. I would always go out of my way to buy them like coffee or donuts from the coffee shop while we're studying for a test. I would always do these little small acts of kindness, but I wouldn't get anything in return. My return on investment was zero. They just looked at me as I was just in the friend zone. And I also felt after a certain point that I was just getting taken advantage of. So now, at this point in my life, I'm not nice to everybody. I'm not kind to everybody. I'm very selective about who I give my time to, especially when it comes to my certain friends, when it comes to even family too. You got to also be able to limit the amount of time that you give out. My parents, I love them to death. I would do anything for them. They're the only exception where I would do so much for them because they have done so much for me. Other than that, everyone else is second, third place, you know? But the point is, man, is that a lot of us, we develop this habit of just being kind, and we have this belief that when we're kind to everybody, we get kindness back. Or, people respect us and people admire us. But no, that's not the case. When you're kind to everybody and when people notice that you are kind to everybody, when that person that you were kind to notices that you were also kind to another person, jealousy gets involved, envy gets involved. And they can also sense that you are weak, that you can get easily taken advantage of because you don't stand up for yourself. You can't say no. You're just a yes man. It's a big sign of weakness, and it's a flaw in society that that people have been institutions have told us to always be kind, always to be friendly, always to be nice, but that is not the case. That is not what makes you a stronger or respected individual. It doesn't make you like that. It doesn't. And trust me, I'm speaking to you from experience. I'm telling you, this is absolute facts. Now that I'm in my early 30s, I'm so selective about who I talk to, who I give my time to. I have so many friends on Facebook and social media, and some of them message me, but then if I haven't talked to them in years, I'll maybe send them like a one-word reply, maybe like 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, because I'm busy, bro. Sometimes I don't even respond. Because they're not part of my circle of people that I would do anything for. You have to keep your circle of your social circle small. You shouldn't keep your social circle large, because when you keep your social circle large, you have bigger investments of social energy that you need to give out to everybody. But the smaller your social circle is, the smaller the investments and the greater the return, in my opinion. If you have 20, 30 friends, that's way too much, in my opinion. Because you have to give out your energy to all these people and you have to satisfy them in certain ways. You got to make sure that you're there for them during the highlights of their life. Could be their birthday, could be their wedding, could be whatever. You have to dedicate a lot of your time to these certain people, but you also get mentally exhausted from all of this eventually too. I felt this way a lot, where I've gone to like friends' weddings because one after the other, and I was the MC. I was the person that was in charge of making sure everyone was in the right table. I was doing all of these things, taking all this responsibility for people who would never do the same thing in return for me. Who would never do the same thing in return. It's funny because I have family members who have been very close friends with other family members, like family friends. I have family members who have been friends with family friends for a very long time, and their relationships have ended after 20, 30 years over the fact that the kindness wasn't reciprocated back. My father did so much for some of his friends, but it was never returned. And it's not even about expecting something in return. It's about showing up. It's about not taking advantage of the other person. And it's crazy because we live in a world where everyone is trying to achieve something, right? Everyone's trying to make a lot of money so they can have financial freedom. Everyone is rushing to do all of these things. Everyone is also busy. That's understandable as well. But you also got to guard your heart with all your might. I've also noticed something, that the kinder the individual, the easier they are to forget. They're very forgettable. If you're too kind to people all the time when they don't deserve it, but you're still kind to them consistently, people get used to it, and then people expect you to continue to be nice to them. People continue to expect that from you, And then when you don't give it a little bit in return, they just complain, or they just forget about you, man. You're just easily forgettable. The nice guys always finish last. That is a fact. They always finish last. If you're a little bit arrogant, if you're a little bit, I would say you're a little bit standoffish. You're a little bit kind of like, you know what? No, when I have time, I'll do this. Or when you step back a little bit, observe how that person reacts. If they become needy, if they're like, hey, why did you do this for me? They're not supposed to be in your life. But if you step back and you let them message you, you let them contact you, and then you give them increments of your kindness, or you give little increments of your heart to them, and they're grateful about it. Oh man, I really appreciate you as a friend. I really appreciate you as a partner. Then they deserve to be in your life. Then it's a healthy relationship. Do not completely give your heart to somebody, bro. Whether it's that person that your girlfriend or your boyfriend or your wife or your husband or your friend, don't completely give your heart. You gotta step back a little bit. You gotta guard your heart a little bit, man. You gotta step back so you can see how people react. So you can also see if people actually appreciate the kindness that you gave to them. I've always been that guy, man. I've always been that guy who's just like kind to, like nice to people, always available. And now I've changed. I've become less available. I've become a mystery. A lot of people don't know what the hell I'm up to because I don't post a lot on social media. A lot of people don't know what I'm doing. Even this YouTube channel that I have, everyone that I know, they don't know that I have this channel. Even my closest friends. The only people that know this channel are viewers that I've never met in my entire life. Like you, watching this video right now. No? But yeah, guys, please guard your heart and you'll have more peace and you'll gain more respect from others. Don't always give your heart away to every single person that you meet, man. Even if you find the perfect individual, man, like that he's like the he or she is the love of your life. Do not get completely infatuated because then you start making irrational decisions. You start becoming too nice. You start putting that person on a pedestal. And when you put someone on a pedestal, they look down on you. Remember that. I'm going to say that again. When you put someone on a pedestal, they look down on you. Do not do this. Do not self-sabotage yourself. Give your heart in increments, in tiny bits and pieces. Thank you for watching.